Most sales forecasts are just lies. Your spreadsheet says that you're gonna finish the quarter 120%, but you end up closing the quarter at 82%. Now your CEO's pissed, finance is scrambling, your reps are more stressed out and even more confused than before. And the problem isn't that your team can't sell, the problem is you're relying on hope, not a system. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how to fix it. We're gonna break down how to build a forecast you can actually trust, how AI changes the game in 2025 and 2026, and how to turn your pipeline into a predictable revenue machine. If you don't know me, I'm Justin J. Johnson. I help software sales teams and sales reps build systems so their income and their company's revenue really becomes predictable, just like clockwork. And I am a former #1 rep at Salesforce, 5-time sales leader. I became a CRO at 33 and was named one of the top CROs in tech at 34. And now I run a company called Software Sales Coach. And recently I co-authored a full guide on sales forecasting with Salesforce. And in this video, I'm going to be taking the most important ideas from that guide and turning them into a practical step-by-step playbook for you. Whether you're a rep, a sales leader, or a founder, if you've ever been burned by a bad forecast, this is going to be helpful. And if you want more content on tech sales, forecasting, pipeline, career growth, go ahead and hit subscribe right now so that you can get more content in the future. Or if you want to drop the word forecast in the comments, that's going to help me know this is helpful for you. And I could send you the guide over that you could take a look at. All right, now let's start with a very simple question, which is understanding what a sales forecast really is. Most teams think a forecast is a spreadsheet. It's not. What actually is a sales forecast? Forget the buzzwords for a second. A forecast is just a data-driven estimate of how much revenue you're gonna close in a specific time. It's not what we hope to close. It's not what we wish to close. It's not, hey, if the stars align, this is what we're gonna close. At a basic level, it's built from 3 things: the deals in your pipeline, the likelihood each deal will close, and when the money's actually gonna hit. And each opportunity has a projected value and an expected close date. And when you roll that up across your pipeline, you get a full view of what the future should look like. But here's where most teams screw this up. They treat forecasting like a reporting exercise instead of a behavior problem. A real forecast asks, what do we know about the buyer? How do they make decisions? Who's involved? What's their timeline? How committed are they to changing? Do we have a competitive edge in this deal? And when you start feeding that level of data into your CRM and start to leverage tools like AI, your forecast becomes less about guessing and more about reading buyer intent. And that's the key shift. So who actually uses the forecast? Your forecast isn't just for sales. It runs the entire company. When most sales reps hear forecast, they think it's just a painful exercise for the VP of sales. But your forecast quietly runs the entire business. So let me break that down real quick. So finance is going to use the forecast to decide, hey, how much do we invest in different channels? When do we need to pull back? When do we need to raise cash or be more conservative with our cash? Product uses it to plan demand and the roadmap, what features to prioritize, what launches to support, where usage and revenue are trending. HR, the people team, ops, they use it to plan hiring or decide when to staff up a specific region and adjust recruiting targets. Leadership and the board use it to set growth targets, communicate with investors, and make strategic bets for the business. Everyone in the business touches the forecast in some way, shape, or form. But ownership is very layered. Reps own the inputs, the deal notes, the stages, the next steps, the close dates. Managers own the validation. Is this real? Is this winnable? Is the timing realistic? Executives ultimately own the number. They stand in front of the company and say, hey, here's what we're gonna do. So when your forecast is wrong, it's not just a sales problem, it's a company-wide problem. Imagine if you look at the weather forecast and they say, hey, there's a severe thunderstorm coming, and then it never hits. You're very frustrated at the weather reporter. Well, the same goes for when the company forecast is wrong. It's a big issue. And that's why dealing with this is such a massive unlock for your career if you can learn this. Because if you become the rep or leader whose numbers are consistently accurate, you become incredibly valuable to the business. Here's why forecasting matters and what it actually does for you. An accurate forecast doesn't just make you look smart, they give you power. So let's talk about why this matters beyond my boss asked for it. Accurate forecasting gives you lead time gives you options, and options give you power. Because here's the real benefits. Your number 1 is revenue planning. When your forecast is accurate, you can anticipate, hey, when's the revenue coming in? What's the costs that are going out? Where there might be a shortfall? And this is a key difference between, oh crap, we missed our goal, now we're panicking, the house is on fire. And then what that turns into is, hey, we're trending light over the next 90 days. Let's put some additional resources to add some pipeline so we get that cash flow to adjust the situation. This is the same situation, totally different level of control and totally different levels of stress and panic within the organization. Number 2, it helps you set realistic and stretch quotas. If your forecast shows where you land based on current deals, you can set realistic quota targets. You can layer stretch goals on top of that. You can align your comp plans with actual potential. And this avoids the classic failure mode where quotas are set way above reality, everyone misses, and then morale tanks and everyone leaves the company. Number 3, this gives you pipeline focused. A good forecast highlights which deals are most likely to close, which deals are stalling or fake, and where to reallocate your time. Most reps die by pipeline bloat. They cling to 30 maybe deals instead of focusing on the 8 that can actually close. Your forecast should be a filter that says, hey, these are the 5 to 10 deals that matter this quarter. Everything else in the pipeline is for the future. Number 4, what you get is resource allocation. With a clear forecast, leaders can better plan headcount, shift territory coverage, decide where to invest their marketing dollars, choose which segments to prioritize. And if you're a rep, this matters because you get better support, you get less fire drills, you're not constantly reacting to last minute changes in the business. Number 5, better customer relationships. When you're forecasting well, you're paying attention to your buyer behavior, renewal patterns, expansion opportunities, and what a typical sales cycle looks like. And that makes you more proactive. You see risk earlier, you solve problems before they explode, customers feel like you get them. So yeah, forecasting helps you hit a number, but more importantly, it helps you run the business like a professional and not an amateur. So how do you build the forecast step by step? Your forecast is only as good as your data. Garbage in, garbage out. So let's get tactical. Here's a simple, repeatable way to build a forecast that doesn't suck. Step 1, define the timeline. Decide what you're forecasting. Are we doing this weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually? What does that look like? For most SaaS companies, reps forecast weekly, managers roll up to monthly and quarterly, and execs typically think quarterly and annually. So be clear about the time horizon because it changes what you focus on. Step 2 is gather historical data. You want to know historically what are the win rates by the different stages of our pipeline, what's our average deal size, what's the average sales cycle length, what's the conversion rates from stage to stage, what about slippage, how often do deals push to the next period. Use your CRM or sales performance tools to help you pull that data. And if your data is trash, you need to start fixing that now because garbage in, garbage out. So you need to make sure every opportunity has a real dollar amount, a real close date, a stage that matches reality, next steps clearly outlined in the notes. This is the unsexy work, but it's the foundation of every forecast. Step 3, account for key variables. Don't just look for pipeline size, layer in the context. Deals in progress, what's real versus wishful thinking, sales team capacity, are the new reps ramping, are people leaving, what's the situation here? Marketing plans, what big campaigns are coming down the pipe, is there a seasonality effect here? Product changes, are there new launches coming? Pricing changes, any updates there? What's going on with the market conditions? Are there macroeconomic shifts, regulations, competitions? If you ignore these variables, your forecast will look mathematically clean and just be very wrong. Step 4, choose your forecasting method. We'll go deeper in the next segment, but at a high level, you got 3 options. Number 1 is top down. Start from a big revenue target and push it down to regions and reps. Number 2, you got bottoms up. Start from individual deals and roll them up. And then 3, which is layered, which is a combination of both. Most modern teams use some kind of layered approach. I did as well when I was a leader, and it really helped me have both the rep view and the leadership view to hit it from both sides. Step 5 is do the math. Depending on your method, you'll apply probabilities to the different stages. You'll adjust based on the rep and segment performance. You're going to run scenario models. You'll commit, best case, worst case. What does that look like? Because you want 3 views. A commit is what you're highly confident in closing. I like to say, hey, we're signing up for this number in blood. Likely, this is like your commit plus your likely upside. This is what I like to call your closest to the pin. And then your stretch. People also call this a best case. So what happens if the stars align and everything breaks in our direction? So this creates a nice range and not just a single magical number for you to operate against. Step 6, review, iterate, and adjust. A forecast is a living and breathing system, not a one and done document. So you should review it weekly at the rep and the manager level. You should update it monthly at the leadership level and make sure you compare your forecast versus actual every period. So you should ask, where were we off? Why did that happen? Is it a data issue, a behavior issue, or a market issue? And over time, this feedback loop makes your forecast more accurate and your team more honest. So let's talk top down versus bottom up versus layered. So if your forecast only goes one direction, top down or bottom up, it's probably wrong. Let's go deeper on the 3 forecasting approaches because this is where a lot of confusion happens. Top down forecasting. So here's a breakdown. Leadership says, hey, we want 5 million in revenue next quarter. And then they break that down by region, by team, by rep, and they allocate targets based on market size, historical performance, strategic bets. And when it's useful is when you have new products, new markets, long-term planning, investor board conversations. That's when it's useful. Downside is it can be completely disconnected from reality if it's not grounded in what's actually happening in the field. It's like saying, hey, I want to lose 30 pounds without looking at your current habits. Bottom-up forecasting, how that works is you're starting with a real pipeline. So every rep's opportunities, you look at the deal stages, close dates, the deal size, win probabilities, and you're going to roll all that up to the team level, the region level, and then the company level. And this is powerful because when you're selling complex, deal-driven sales motions, you like a lot of enterprise SaaS, in those situations, that's when a lot of revenue typically comes from individual deals. So that's when you need a detailed rep level visibility. Now, the downside of that, if reps are overly optimistic, stages are wrong, close dates are padded, your bottom-up forecast just becomes fantasy. And then pipeline hygiene really becomes everything. And then there's layered forecasting. And this is what most mature orgs eventually move to. And here's how it works. Reps submit their bottom-up forecast. Managers review it. They adjust, validate what's right and what's wrong. Then leadership layers on a top-down forecast. They'll look at market trends, strategic initiatives, macro conditions, and you essentially stack multiple perspectives on top of one another. Now, the upside of this is it's more realistic, uses both field insight and a strategic view, and it's more resilient to individual bias. The downside is it's more work and it's slower to produce, and it can be influenced by internal politics and overcorrection. So if you're building a sales org or you're up-leveling your existing one, your goal should be make sure you start with bottom-up discipline, and then you want to add top-down strategy, and then you're going to land on a layered system that everyone trusts. Now let's talk about forecasting and chaos and how to handle unpredictable markets. Unpredictable markets don't kill companies. Slow reactions to them do. Businesses like stability. Reality doesn't care about that. We've seen economic shocks, tariffs, regulatory changes. We had a pandemic, supply chain issues, social or political events that stall deals. All these things can completely blow up your forecast overnight. Here's how to think about forecasting when things get messy. Number one, don't panic, don't guess. The worst thing you can do in a crisis is throw your forecast out the window and then start making decisions based on rumors and emotions. Instead, fall back to your systems. Use your CRM as the source of truth. Anchor on real opportunities and real conversations, and double check the data quality. Number two, increase the frequency of your reviews. In stable markets, maybe do weekly pipeline reviews, monthly, quarterly forecast reviews. In unstable markets, you shorten that cycle, you tighten it up. More frequent pipeline hygiene, faster forecast updates, shorter feedback loops between reps and leadership. Think of it like checking the weather more often during storm season. Number three, update the CRM in real time. When conditions are changing fast, reps need to log new risks immediately, update stages as soon as things change, record new buying behaviors or approval processes. And this is where AI and sales analytics tools really shine through because they can help you surface patterns faster, they reduce manual errors, they highlight deals that are at risk, but only if the human inputs are really honest. Number four, lead with empathy. Look, in a crisis, it's not just your team that's stressed. Your customers are under pressure too. This is where you ask better questions, you listen more, you adapt to their new reality, you help them build business cases that make sense under the new constraints. And the companies that handle forecasting and customer conversations well, especially during unstable times, usually come out stronger on the other side. So let's talk sales forecasting trends and where does AI and agentic workflows really come into place? Look, the data says by 2028, AI will make at least 15% of daily business decisions. And if your forecast doesn't have some AI component to it, you're starting to fall behind. So let's talk about what's changing right now in forecasting. For years, forecasting was manual, only spreadsheet driven, dependent on one or two Excel wizards in the company. That world is quickly disappearing. AI is eating traditional forecasting for breakfast. Modern AI forecasting can help you automate data collection, analyze historical and real-time data, spot patterns that humans miss, predict likely outcomes, suggest next best actions. And it's not just AI inside a feature. We're now seeing agentic AI, which is autonomous software components like agents that can literally pull data from different systems, analyze it, adjust your forecast, trigger actions like alerts or follow-ups. Platforms like Salesforce are already doing a lot of this with their Agentforce platform. And that's a network of AI sales agents that continuously learn from your data. And Gartner predicts that by 2028, at least 15% of daily business decisions will be made up by AI. That's up from less than 1% in 2024. Forecasting is a prime territory for this shift. And where AI can really come in, they can help you monitor your pipeline 24/7, flag deals that are high risk, notice when a key contact maybe has gone dark, adjust the probabilities of your deals based on recent activity, update forecast scenarios automatically, trigger tasks like, hey, ping this customer, or you need to schedule a renewal call, right? It's not sci-fi anymore. That's where we're heading and it's happening quick. And agentic workflows really go a step further. One agent may aggregate customer data. Another one analyzes the impact on your forecast. Another one might queue up emails or tasks for the reps, and all without you manually touching every step. So this really becomes a digital sales analyst working behind the scenes. So what this means for you is if you're a rep, your job is is less about typing data into a CRM. It's more about having real conversations and making judgment calls. If you're a sales leader, your job shifts from spreadsheet jockey to decision architect. You design the systems, the rules, and behaviors that AI simply amplifies. And AI doesn't replace the need for skill. It just punishes teams that don't have systems in place and massively rewards the ones that do. So let's talk about tools, how to pick the right one and how to use the right stack. So the tool doesn't save you, the system does. But let's talk about tools for a minute. Yes, you can forecast in a spreadsheet, and in the early days, that's fine. But as soon as your pipeline grows, your team scales, your deals become more complex, you're gonna hit the limits on manual forecasting. And that's where CRM platforms and revenue tools really come in. And what good forecasting tools do is they help you centralize customer and deal data, track historical performance, automate data capture where possible. You of course provide dashboards and reports for reps, managers, and executives. And it's gonna help you integrate forecasting with sales engagement, with quoting, with contracts, orders, billing, all of that. And platforms like Salesforce, with a lot of things that they do with the Revenue Cloud, really help solve this problem. And you get one source of truth. You connect forecasting with true revenue operations. And you get to reduce the friction between we closed it and we booked it. But here's the key. A powerful platform with bad habits will still give you a bad forecast. A basic platform with excellent habits can beat the fancy tech stack. So pick your tools carefully, but make sure you obsess over data hygiene, consistent processes, clear definitions of stages and probabilities, and regular forecast reviews. That's what makes the tool valuable. So how do we turn your forecast into a revenue machine? Forecast is not about predicting the future. It's about controlling it. So let's bring this home. If you want predictable revenue growth, you can't treat forecasting like a checkbox. You need to treat it like a core operating system for your business. So here's your action plan coming out of this video. Number one, audit your current forecast. How accurate has it been over the last 3 to 4 quarters? Where were you consistently off? Number two, tighten your data. Clean up your stages, close dates, amounts, and next steps. Get religious about updating your CRM after every touch. Number three, decide on your primary forecasting method. Top down, bottom up, layered. Where are you at? Where do you need to evolve to? Does everyone understand the rules of how we forecast? Number four, shorten the feedback loop. Make sure you're reviewing the pipeline and forecast regularly and comparing what people are forecasting versus what's actually happening. You need to make sure you're adjusting the systems and not just the number. And then number five, start leaning into AI and technology, making sure you're turning on forecasting and analytics features in your CRM. Let AI surface risks and patterns, and then use your judgment to act. And if you do all this, you're gonna move from, I hope we hit the number, to, hey, I know where we're headed and what we need to do about it. And that's where predictable revenue, better decisions, and real career growth really live. So if you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, just so I know, and then more sales leaders get to see it. And then drop a comment with the word forecast if you want me to do a follow-up video where I walk through a real forecast example and how we do dashboards. And if you're an AE or sales leader who wants help building systems like this for your pipeline, your process, and your career, there'll be a link in the description to learn more about working with me and my team. Thanks for hanging out. I'm Justin. I help you build systems, not stress. I'll see you in the next video.